The Empire State. From the financial and entertainment epicenter of New York City to the sleeping and empty small cities and towns of upstate, which once bustled with manufacturing, mining, and farming. We all know from inspiration, history, and nature, we deserve a return to the success and growth of generations past, a birthright being squandered by corruption in Albany, and the depredations of an insecure, scheming mountebank posing as governor, who loathes both us and himself. As liberty beckoned to enslaved peoples behind the Iron Curtain via American broadcasts after World War II, we now say, believe, rise, and join us. Welcome to Radio Free New York.
Hey, welcome everyone. This is Kevin. I am in again today for Andrew Hollister. I also have Sean Phelan here with me today. If you're watching us on camera, he is not in shot, and it's not just because I'm ashamed of him. It's fine. It's
my face for radio.
It's just the stuff in the background doesn't look good. But thanks again for joining us here on Radio Free New York. We are not in studio today. We're casting remotely, and we're going to see how that goes.
We're in the Liberty Closet.
Yeah, Liberty Closet, right. But of course, we are broadcasting on WYSL and WACK. There will be a broadcast later tonight, and WENY. And of course, we are on the Facebook page, Andrew C. Hollister, Radio Free New York, YouTube, Twitter, all those. So please, our streams are up. Send us a message if you want to talk to us. All right, so today, we got a couple things we want to talk about. Of course, we want to acknowledge that it's Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Yes.
That's a federal holiday. We're celebrating the life and legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on that today, in part because I have another guest that's going to be going on Thursday who's going to talk a little bit more about that. Mm-hmm. So we're going to kind of talk about his legacy and libertarians in relation to that legacy as well. And so it should be a really interesting discussion with a guy that I've known for a couple years now from the Larry Sharpe campaign. So that one should be good. So stay tuned Thursday. We're going to be talking about that and kind of libertarianism in relation to the civil rights movement.
When I was a kid growing up, of course, I knew about him and learned about him and stuff, but the magnitude of what he really accomplished didn't really hit me until I was an adult, I have to be honest. And to think about and to put it in perspective, for those people listening, imagine getting up out of your chair right now and go and do the things he did, and you'll get a kind of a grasp of the magnitude of what he accomplished.
No, this just putting life and limb on the line.
Yeah.
To be able to fight for the rights of people, African Americans especially in the South, who weren't able to vote, who weren't able to get equal treatment under the law, and who weren't able to do things like sit at a lunch counter, even segregated water fountains, bathrooms, all this ridiculous stuff. That wasn't really that long ago. There's still many people alive who that was their day-to-day life.
Oh, I can remember being a kid in the 70s, and we drove down south, and we had to make quite a few bathroom breaks, and while in like South Carolina or Georgia or somewhere, we pulled off in this little road, and we found this little place to get gas in the bathroom, and you could see on top of the bathroom entranceway, you could still see the old paint of it where it said whites only.
Yeah, it still had some of that stuff in the 70s, even after.
Well, I'm saying it was old though, but still it wasn't painted over.
Yeah, right.
It was like, wow, really?
And if you're living down there and you're seeing that even every day, even if you know it's not enforced anymore, it's kind of a stark reminder of like, hey, for a while the state and local governments didn't treat me as an equal. If you're an African American living that situation, it's hard to know what to think about your state government, your local government, even the federal government as well. And that's when things get really interesting. And if anyone caught my States' Rights podcast show that I did on Wednesday, I talked about that a little bit. Who enforces individual liberty in these situations, right? If does the federal government come down on the side in that historical context of being the better protector of individual liberty, and is that a good thing, right? And in this case, the outcome was good. It's just we've grown the federal government in that process. So what do we do about that? And that's a lot of what I want to be able to talk about with my guest on Thursday. is about that type of stuff. So if there are any other like questions that you think that I should address in that, send us a message on Facebook, or of course send us an email, contact at radiofreenewyork.com. And Radio Free New York is all spelled out, at radiofreenewyork.com. So yeah, but we do have a couple other topics that we want to get to today as well. We'll wait and see on the Virginia situation. Those protests are still going on. We talked about that a little bit Friday, but we're going to kind of see how everything turns out, see how the governor responds, and then we don't want to give a hot take on
Right.
anything, right?
Well,
We don't have the full information of what's going on.
The one thing I can say is I am very concerned about some of the rumors that I'm hearing about Democratic agencies, shall I say, are bringing in troublemakers, Antifa. I'm hearing rumors.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
I mean,
to try to stir things up, and that really worries me.
No, sure. I mean, that's very agent provocateurs are a legit thing. And it's hard to tell because you're just seeing these things on the internet, right? And that's why I kind of want to wait and see what happens, because I don't want to jump to conclusions or perpetuate these rumors that I don't know if they're true.
They want to take our guns. They're evil.
Yeah, right. So any sacrifice of truth is justified in order to do that. Oh, I was expecting a no.
Well, I mean, I've been saying for years that the government's been slowly tightening the noose of freedom and liberty, and they're taking it away little at a time and a little at a time. And now this is a big one, and you got to dig in and stand your ground and say this is not acceptable.
For sure. Oh, for sure, and I think this is a good opportunity to stand up for Second Amendment rights. What's going on in Virginia, and I think as Andrew's pointed out in some of his shows on this, we want to make sure that we maintain the moral high ground of truth. That we are the ones who are defending truth. We're the ones defending individual liberties and individual rights, and so we don't want to sully that image. And make sure we want to sully that image with spreading false rumors and lies.
Yeah, we just want to keep everything as accurate as possible, because that's what libertarians try to do. We try to keep things as as basically as honest and factual as possible, because I think it really builds our credibility to have facts on our side.
Yeah, absolutely.
So to speculate would be irresponsible.
Yeah. Small side conversation from some of the other stuff that we're talking about. But the other things that I do want to get to today are the things going on in terms of Facebook and social media, and these calls from the Democratic candidates. I've heard it from, I think, Joe Biden, Elizabeth Warren, Andrew Yang, and they've all said that Facebook ought to be kind of the arbiter of truth in terms of political videos. So Facebook has gone out and said that they are not going to police videos or pull down videos that are that contain lies. Right.
Yeah, and there's quite a few of them.
Yeah. So that's what we'll get to there, and then we'll also talk a little bit about the thing going on with Apple and encryption. This is kind of an old issue. This has been going on for years now, right? So it became an issue in the 2016 election for a little bit. I think in the presidential debates, actually, where then candidate Donald Trump said that we ought to boycott Apple because they weren't getting a what you call a backdoor to their encryption process, because I think at the time it was the San Bernardino shooter who had an iPhone, and the FBI wanted to be able to investigate that to see if they had any other connections, and Apple said no. So that's
it's with Apple. It's you're encrypting something into a company, for the person's privacy, and this, I'm just going to cut to the chase. This is exactly what that statement about Benjamin Franklin had said, that he, it's attributed to Benjamin Franklin, that said something about you're giving up freedoms is no way to get a sense of security or something like that. And
It's close. You know, I
I
think,
destroyed it. Sorry.
you know, it's all right. During the break, I'll look up the actual quote. We'll read that. All right. So thanks again for joining us here on Radio Free New York. We will be back in just a few minutes.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, SimpleTech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today.
How's it going, guys?
At 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Hi, Bob Savage here for the WYSL station. So times are tight, and you've got to watch every penny. How to get maximum advertising impact without shelling out maximum bucks? Well, there's print media. Of course, there's a reason why it's called the incredible shrinking daily paper. Then there are those penny savers and shoppers, 98% of which hit the recycling bin.
Yeah, I kept hearing kind of like, I don't know if it was just if you were on the computer or what, or if you're just, yeah, like that.
12 viewers per channel. Or how about hiring some guy in a...
You know what you could do? You could put either like a mouse pad or a piece of carpet under the mic, and they'll just insulate it from the table.
Have money to spend. WYSL has a giant 20,000 watt signal and 2 FM channels at 92.1 and 95.5, covering 1.4 million people all over Rochester and the region, literally all the way to Pennsylvania. Get results, save time and money. Call us, get on board, and start growing for 2020. 346-3000.
Thanks. I've done this for years. I know every little tip and trick there is in the book.
And Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row. And
Oh, I lost audio from you for some reason.
if your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your...
Okay.
The professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at
We're getting ready to come back. Stand by.
500-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
You're listening to Radio Free New York.
All right, welcome back. You're listening to Radio Free New York. I'm here, Kevin Wilson, not in studio, but at our remote studio. So I know over the radio you didn't hear this, but over our live stream I know we're on during the break, and we're just trying to adjust things and make sure it sounds right. So if we aren't sounding right, please just leave us a comment. We're just trying to figure this out and fix it, so it's a little bit easier for all of us to be able to do the show, because me and Andrew and Sean, we all work, we're all doing things, so we want to make this show work as best as possible.
Sean works.
On occasion.
Oh yeah, it happens. It happens.
And so we did get a couple comments in. Thank you, Garrett, for your comment. He said, "I hope we learned our lesson with Whiskey Warrior." And again, if you haven't checked out the show that Andrew did on that, it was very, very good. That kind of broke down the situation, how this kind of rumor mill kind of spread out of control, and then what actually happened, what's worth investigating and being wary of, and then what was maybe not so true in that situation.
Well, we did an Evergreen show about the what's propaganda and what's not, and how to identify it.
Yeah. And one day when which we're not able to make a live show, we'll do that.
Yeah, we'll play that.
And Garrett, I also definitely check out the 1A segment on the Apple issue. But so let's talk about the Facebook thing first. All right. So again, what's going on with Facebook right now is that several political candidates, like Elizabeth Warren. Yeah, no, we're good. Okay. So several political candidates: Elizabeth Warren, Andrew Yang, Joe Biden. They have been saying that Facebook should take a more active role in editing the content that is allowed in news feeds. Right. So meaning, and specifically what would happen, Elizabeth Warren kind of led the charge with this, where she said that there are videos that contain lies that were allowed as political ads on Facebook. They got approved, they went out, and she was upset that these are things that were pretty obvious and well-known lies, so why shouldn't Facebook pull these videos down? Now, Facebook has said that they don't want to be the arbiter of truth. They don't want to be in a situation where there's a gray area in terms of whether or not a statement is factual, and be put in a position where you have one politician saying this is a lie and how can you allow this to go out, and another politician who says that's a truthful statement, how could you censor me? Right? So Facebook doesn't want to be in that position, so their fallback position is to throw their hands up and say, no, we ain't going to do that. What do you think of that, Sean?
I'm just sitting here thinking that, like, I've seen videos that have like gray lettering over saying like this is property of such and such, and you can still see the video in the background, but the gray sits forward. I don't understand why Facebook can't just say the information in this video has not been verified as factual and just leave it up there. And I think that would actually encourage people to put factual videos up there so that that gray lettering would never be there.
Yeah, well, I don't think that, because then again, Facebook's kind of taking a position on the truthfulness of that video, right? And what's interesting is Facebook kind of already does this with some political claims, because you'll see it in your newsfeed. Someone will post some meme that contains a rumor about Hillary Clinton or something, right? Because that's where you see the most of. Yeah. And then below it, it'll be fact check. Here's this article from Snopes that says that this isn't true.
Yes.
So they do that. But they're wary of doing that in political situations. And for those of you who've never done a political ad on Facebook too, what happens is you have to go and verify your identity with Facebook. So I have to send like my driver's license, get a piece of mail sent to my house, and my social security number, all that stuff, and then verify my organization. So if I'm a political campaign, I have to send them in that information as well, to prove that I am representing the campaign that I claim to be representing. And then I can run ads, and when I run the ads, it'll say paid for by so-and-so, right? So like when right, yeah. So when if I ran any ads last year, say paid for by this campaign, and then if you clicked on it, you'd be able to say connect my identity to that. And that kind of came as a response to the Russian ad campaigns, right?
Right. Well, I did see recently a story where Facebook said something to the effect of that they pulled some ads or some memes or something because they were traced back to a Ukrainian IP address or something.
Is that fake news?
I don't know.
I don't know hard to tell anymore.
I don't know. So, I should have saved that for Friday, huh?
Yeah, right. No, well, I'll have to look that up. But it might be true. I mean, I think there was some stuff coming from Ukraine as well that is in fact verified, because they were, interestingly, in a position where they were more likely to want to see Hillary Clinton win because she was taking a harder stance on providing aid to Ukraine in the Ukrainian-Russian conflict. So there's a little bit of sliver of truth to what those people talk about, like the kind of Trump team talks about in terms of that. But
I know I know what Facebook can do.
Okay, what's the solution,
Facebook
Sean?
can just hire a libertarian organization to fact check for them, and we'll just say it's all lies. It's all lies. Believe none of it.
Yes, don't believe any of their propaganda. So, with a lot of this stuff, again, I'm kind of sympathetic to Facebook's position. I'd rather not Facebook decide what to label truth and a lie, in part because I think it may end up hurting libertarians in some cases. Like, I worry, like, if, we make kind of factual policy claims about, like, the national debt or about, I don't know, the war on drugs or the criminal justice system. Like, are they going to fact check that type of stuff? Are they going to put up stuff that at least like kind of shows the other side of that claim? Would they have an obligation to if it became a legislative priority of someone like Elizabeth Warren or Andrew Yang or Joe Biden? Where do you draw the line in what Facebook is obligated to do? And in fact, so I don't want to be paranoid and say like they would specifically attack libertarians, but maybe, like that's the position that we put them in the power to be able to do that, and they would rather remain neutral in these situations, which I think is the better position.
During the Larry Sharpe campaign, though, they did pull a whole slew of stuff.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, so I was the guy running a lot of those. So interestingly enough, like some of it was like the Google ads. Ours got pulled down because we didn't end up having the right authorizations at one point in time. But it's weird because they allowed them to run for a little while. And same with Facebook. With Facebook, they I forget why they shut it down, but they shut it down for some reason. Like they thought we had like a fraudulent account or something. And so they're like, all right, until we investigate this is off. And we're like, it's like 3 weeks before an election. You can't like kill our ad account for a month. Like,
right.
It's ridiculous.
Like that wasn't like some kind of form of sabotage.
Yeah, like with Facebook, since I work in this every day, trust me when I say like a lot of that stuff is more a product of messy bureaucracy where people aren't talking to each other than it is of intentional sabotage. It is not sabotage, it is incompetence. and so, but that's a good enough reason to worry about us or Facebook having the power to shut down videos for political lies too, because what they will do is they will err on the side of caution, and they'll say, okay, we can't put this up. We can't allow this stuff to happen because it might be a lie, so we're going to shut it down. But again, if you're making like, a factual claim that goes against the kind of traditional perceived narrative, like what people understand as the truth, and a lot of libertarian positions are that, then, we might be in trouble. I don't think I like that.
Honestly, I feel it's a cop-out by Facebook. I think that they could easily put a department together for fact-checking and verify the videos, verify the information in there. And
you're pro Facebook fact-checking videos.
I think they should. I think because too many people are getting their news from them. And the misleadingness that I've seen is unbelievable, especially in support of Trump.
Maybe. So I think the bigger issue is, okay, if we can't expect people to be able to understand truth on their own, because the same thing happens, right? Like, but commercials can go out, and sometimes there's some claims in there that I don't think are particularly factual, and other people go around and fact check those claims. So if we're not doing that with commercials, and we really aren't, and if we're again living in a democracy where voters are expected to like process all this information that's being shot at them and then make voting decisions, like do we have a functioning democracy if that's not working?
Yeah, but see, I know Simple Tech is the best company in Rochester to turn to for your internet needs, so
that's true. I mean, a bit of a non sequitur, but
no, it's Facebook. It's too many people are tied into it. It's become too important. And with that magnitude of importance comes a responsibility. And that's just my take on it. If you're going to be that big, you got a responsibility to be, as truthful as possible to the people. I mean, I've seen people post memes stating that, Trump was responsible for the sunrise, but, but seriously, I've seen people that think actually that they thought the economy was garbage until Trump came along, and they don't realize that it actually was increasing since 2009.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again for joining us here on Radio Free New York. We will be back in just a few minutes.
More than twice the power.
WYSL.
More powerful FM 92.1, FM 95.4.
Yeah, our web stream is working. Are they talking your audio? They're not hearing you on YouTube?
Latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for today.
We'll have mostly cloudy skies with a few lake-effect snow showers in the air. A little coating to an inch or so should do it through the course of the day. Temperatures in the teens and low 20s. For tonight, partly cloudy. A few light lake-effect snow showers in the teens. And on Tuesday, a few flurries in the morning, then partly sunny, not as cold. Highs near 30. I'm Rich Cornelia on WYS.
Yes.
I'm still playing.
Joanna Palvino here. Even though I'm
All right, yeah, I was just confirming with you. Everything on our audio web stream is fine here, so just FYI.
Meals ready to heat, eat, and enjoy. Always fresh, not frozen, delicious meals made locally that I can choose each week, delivered to my door, or you can pick them up. Food so healthy that Effortlessly Healthy is the preferred caterer of the U of R Medical Center. Seniors always get 10% off with their Healthy Seniors Plan, and for a limited time, new customers get a 25% discount just by using code SeniorsRock at checkout. Here's to a healthy new year. Eat well, live long, be happy, and save 25% when you use code SeniorsRock at checkout. 254-0078, 254-0078, or check out all they have to offer at ehmeals.com. That's ehmeals.com for Effortlessly Healthy.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Hi, Tom Hamilton here, president of Hamilton Wealth Management located in Pittsford, New York. If you have more than $250,000 in savings and investments, and you've been wondering if your investments are really being handled properly, well, then it's time to at least get a second opinion.
To meet with Mr. Hamilton, call 585-381-9870 or go to HamiltonWealthManagement.com. Advisory services offered through Wealth Plan Partners. Securities offered through Securities America, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Hamilton Wealth Management and Securities America companies are separate entities.
WYSL.
Do you know the difference between an old-style dealership and Moyer Chevrolet? 1. We have a non-commissioned sales team. Our sales professionals will help you find the right vehicle to meet your needs and budget, not ours. 2. Add our no-hassle experience and you will not want to go anywhere else. Take a short drive to Moyer Chevrolet in Honeoye Falls. You'll save time and money.
Moyer Chevrolet.
It's time to smile again. Our patients at Liberty Dental are raving about their smiles and wish they had done this earlier. With our dental implants, you can walk out of the office with a new shiny smile that you've always wanted. Schedule your free consultation at Liberty Dental and see how easy and affordable it is to smile again. Call 434-2090 and schedule your free consultation today. Liberty Dental, West Ridge Road, Greece, next to Ridgemont Wegmans. Liberty Dental. Get your smile today. 434-2090.
Want to be inspired and challenged? Join Rochester's Businessmen's Fellowship. BMF unites Christian men in faith and fellowship in a way that encourages and challenges them to be ambassadors in the marketplace. Meet Gary Pasro and John Furtari as they lead the monthly one-hour challenge on every first Thursday of the month at Pasro Associates, 242 West Main Street, 6:30 a.m. sharp. You'll be encouraged, inspired, and challenged. Come join us the first Thursday of the month.
Don't miss the Rochester Boat Show and Sale at the Riverside Convention Center.
Over 300 boats pre-season priced with 10 dealers competing for your business.
Large dealer inventories and manufacturers are offering great rebates, discounts, and longer warranties. Thursday the 30th through February 2nd.
Go to RochesterBoatShow.com.
Anytime is a good time to be fit at Livonia Fitness in the Village of Livonia. Open daily, Livonia Fitness offers discounts for families, seniors,
coming back, guys,
and students. Livonia Fitness, Main Street in Livonia. Call 346-2207.
You're listening to Radio Free New York.
Okay, welcome back. You're listening to Radio Free New York. Again, it's Kevin Wilson in our remote studio today with Sean Phelan, our resident agent of chaos.
I prefer the Liberty Closet.
The Liberty Closet?
Not the remote location.
Not the remote, Liberty Closet. Okay, this from now on is dubbed the Liberty Closet. Okay, great. So thanks again for everyone who's listening in, and thanks for the comments that have been coming in. They've been really interesting. So we got one from Drew. It says, is Facebook to be treated like a public square with federal public funding like the state-owned buildings?
No.
No.
The government shouldn't pay for anything.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a fair question, right? Like, is it, it has free speech implications, right? If the federal government is kind of nationalizing Facebook, or any of these social media channels, like they have different free speech obligations than what they have now. Also more control too, so it would be kind of a messy legal situation with that happening.
Well, I mean, I see it this way, like there were independent news agencies back in the 60s, Walter Cronkite days, where news had integrity because it tried to be as honest as possible and impartial at that. And that's changed, so those days are gone.
No, I don't think that is possible. I really
But-
don't. To have impartial news, there's no such thing.
Right,
There really
but
isn't.
it's to strive toward it.
Yeah.
You
So I think that's fair enough to strive towards impartial news, to try to strive towards truth. I don't know that they were ever really there, because you can think about the things that were left out, were misreported, were misunderstood, and I appreciate the plethora of news sources, including user-generated content that you see on Facebook, because sometimes that's really valuable, right? You have these independent journalists who are able to go out, and even if it's not their profession, like kind of dig and discover the truth and comment on things in an interesting way. And I don't know that. I think it was a myth that like the Walter Cronkites of the world was a good and stable system. I think it was fundamentally unstable. I think you left a lot of stuff out. I think there's a lot of problems with that system, even if they striving towards that ideal of objective journalism is noble.
Right. I mean, anytime you give information to a human and they give it back out, there's always going to be a reinterpretation, a twisting, a bias, a choice of words in a certain manner. And that's just human nature.
Yeah.
And it's our job as humans, as adults, to sift through that and check multiple sources and see what's the common denominators between them.
Yeah.
And that's what I pretty much do.
We should, and
nowadays.
that's kind of what I think we should be doing, it right. It's like us as citizens, we are responsible for like understanding journalism, understanding like stuff that happens on Facebook too, like not immediately sharing that meme every time, because like, all right, is this actually true? Do I want to spread this? Does it make sense? Is it going to make me look good? Is it going to make me look like a fool by sharing this thing around?
Right.
And so those are things that I try to think about. And again, I think it's your responsibility as a citizen to do that. I don't think it's Facebook's responsibility to do that. And by the way, I want to do just a little bit of self-promotion. There will be a podcast coming out where I was talking with a journalist about like this exact issue for like an hour. And so that should be coming out in the next couple of weeks, and I'll share that on our Radio Free New York page and maybe the Andrew C. Hollister page if he lets me. But
Yeah.
but it was like an hour-long conversation just about that and about the topic of fake news, and I'm hoping I can get that same journalist on this show one day to talk about it.
Just this week, I posted 2 memes that I saw that were about the Police Accountability Board members that were selected.
Yeah.
And because I couldn't verify the authenticity of those memes, when I did repost them, I say right at the top, please say it ain't so.
Yeah.
Which right there tells you I'm not sure if this is real or not. Please tell me if this is right or not.
Sean Phelan, advocate of memeing responsibly.
Yeah, I think, as a growing libertarian party and a member of this party, I think that integrity is going to be the best tool to win over voters.
Yeah.
Because if we come across as just another sack of lies and, a human diaper, then we need to really revamp our thinking, because that's not going to work. Any intelligent voter is going to see through that, and they're going to go, oh, look, the libertarians are just like the Dems and Republicans, just lying to get where they want to get to. And I don't think that's the way to go. I think
no,
honesty and integrity is very important, and I think that's exactly why people don't want to vote for politicians anymore. They want real people.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough. Now, we did a comment from Eric, and it says, "Aren't all political promises lies?"
Nowadays.
Nowadays,
Yeah, nowadays.
I wouldn't go that far.
I mean, I can only go back, 25, 30 years for myself speaking, but
back in the good old days when everyone was truthful and good and,
well,
and
no,
wholesome.
yeah, no. But I mean, like, I've listened to Larry Sharp go around, and he's one of the only candidates I ever heard that doesn't say, "Oh, look at the other guy, bad, 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 bad." He comes out and he goes, "Well, you know what? Yeah, that's a bad idea. Why don't we try this? I have a plan. Let's try this. How about this as an idea?" And so you want to call those promises? Okay, you can call them a promise, but I think he would have been able to pull those off.
Yeah, I don't take that view. I think most politicians think they're telling the truth. They might not be, but they think they're telling the truth.
No, you give way too much faith.
No. See, I don't have to have faith in them. They can be thinking they're telling the truth and still be advocating stupid, destructive things. I think most of the time they think they're telling the truth. Not always. And let's see.
I don't know. Just the most least intelligent people are getting elected to positions. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
And
Rick on YouTube said that every righteous outfit gets corrupted when it becomes too big, which
that
I
is
think is
totally
fair.
true.
If you start to, if it starts to get too big, you start to worry about preserving your own power instead of preserving the truth. That's a fair thing to point out. Is that like a lot of these institutions? What's the quote? Lord Acton, power corrupts, absolute
power
corrupts absolutely.
Yeah.
So, power tends to be a corrupting influence. And again, if you start to get more attached to the power than the mission, then that's a dangerous thing. And I want to acknowledge Garrett's from YouTube's comment as well. It says that Facebook isn't a public sphere, and that they can do whatever they want as long as it's in the service agreement. So that's true. Yeah, Facebook can do whatever they want. Until the government says otherwise, though, because if the government makes a law that says that they have to police these videos, then they'll have to do that. But otherwise, if Facebook wanted to pull down videos or fact check stuff or do whatever they want on their own volition, they are legally able to do that.
Right. But what I'm getting at is the integrity of the running of the business. Because, like, for example, if you go to a pizza place and you order a pizza, you expect real cheese on the pizza, and not some fake substitute semi-plastic thing that's made out of tofu or something.
Well, that's fair enough. And when it comes to commercial activity, right? Libertarians would say, if there's someone committing force or fraud, and in that case that would be fraud, then you can't false advertise, right? You can't say, I'm going to give you a cheese pizza and actually give me a piece of wood with plastic on it. Right? That's false advertising.
You remember the pizza from high school?
Yeah, no, they're bringing it back. It's great.
Oh God, yeah.
Did you see some of that? Yeah. Well, that's fine. Well, I mean, maybe we'll spend another day on that show.
That's a whole thing.
That's interesting. I don't know. The pizza is hit or miss at my school. It was some days it was very, very good. Some days it was, downright unedible.
I mean, I understand Facebook didn't intend when it first came out to be this political monster that it's turned into, but still, you got a somewhat responsibility to who's using it and the information that's going out on it.
So, well, actually, that gets to the other topic that is kind of related to this is Section 230, right? So, Joe Biden and I think a few of the other Democratic candidates as well, and other Democratic politicians have started to say that Section 230 ought to be repealed.
What is Section 230 exactly, please?
So see if I can get this in before the break. Section 230 is a bill or a law that was passed back in 1996 that essentially says that platforms are able to be kind of neutral in the process. They're not responsible for the content that's posted to them, right? If they're an open platform, right? So like a comment section, like a company that has a comment section on their wall or a forum on their site, they're not necessarily responsible for the stuff that people are posting on there. So they may have they're not legally responsible.
Okay.
So it's kind of called like the First Amendment of the internet, and so basically it says, so a company like Facebook, how that's applied is that Facebook isn't really responsible for the stuff that people put out there. They're not legally liable if someone puts out a lie, so they're treated differently than like a newspaper, whereas a newspaper, if they put out a lie, they are legally kind of liable for putting out a false statement.
Right, but again, I'm not talking about the legality of something. I'm talking about just being integrity. Just having integrity, and say, look, this is not what I expected Facebook to be, but I got to run this company in a better way that's definitely more.
All right, so we got to wrap it up.
Sorry.
So we got to go to a break. So we'll be back for our last segment in just a few minutes.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be,
Did you get the online issue solved?
the team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love.
Now, Clean Feed's accessing the Yeti mic. I wonder if somehow your YouTube or Facebook, whatever, is picking up if you're using a laptop, maybe it's grabbing the internal mic for some reason.
Give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-20.
Or mute the Yeti mic and see if it stops feeding the Facebook during the break.
Aircraft Environmental Systems proudly supports Radio Free New York, Rochester-based leaders in climate simulation chambers for America's R&D laboratories. We're experts in troubleshooting, calibrations, custom designs, and consulting for more than 40 years. Industry pioneers, we created the first ever fleet of temperature
That sounds like maybe it's just something that needs to be tweaked or adjusted along the way, but
trusted by environmental chamber manufacturers.
Yeah, but I mean, at least over the air, everything's going hunky-dory. You guys sounding good. Stand by. We got 90 more seconds.
Or coerced to engage in a sex trade or forced labor. If you're a kid and forced to sell sex, drugs, or work against your will, that's trafficking. You're not a criminal, and there is help available. Call the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 888-373-7888 or text Be Free. Sponsored by the Livingston County Safe Harbors Human Trafficking Task Force.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, SimpleTech Innovation should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau.
Okay, coming back
For a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Radio Free New York.
All right, welcome back. You're listening to Radio Free New York. Again, it's Kevin Wilson in the Liberty Closet here with Sean Phelan, and we're talking Facebook and kind of Section 230. So I just finished explaining that before the break. And
230, 231, whatever it takes.
Yeah, right. And I mean, you had kind of made the point, like you think Facebook has a corporate responsibility to do that.
I think they just have a human responsibility.
Human responsibility, right? Like so they have this platform, and that's one of those things. Like I could sort of agree with you. Like, all right, maybe Facebook ought to be doing some of this, which is what they are doing with some of the false claims that like happen all the time. Because you get some of the ridiculous and it happens on both sides, like the ridiculous like Hillary Clinton rumors, Obama rumors, or Nancy Pelosi rumors, or Donald Trump rumors. Like some of the lies that go out about him are ridiculous and sometimes hilarious, but it is stuff that like people on the Democratic side believe, though, and I see otherwise smart people kind of getting caught up in the same cycle of fake news. I'm like, man, I really wish you didn't share that stuff because it's so obviously a lie. It makes me question your intelligence. and so I don't like seeing that. And Facebook could, and sometimes, and often does currently, challenge that stuff, right? It just gets trickier when it's like, okay, are you interfering with an election by claiming that a video that a politician puts out is a lie?
I'm seeing this a lot with Trump supporters and hardcore liberals.
Yeah.
They will, as long as the meme says what they want it to be, what they think the truth is,
Yeah.
they repost it.
Yeah, I mean, that's very true. And again, that stuff, I think that we can have a reasonable debate about what Facebook should or shouldn't do. That I'm sure Mark Zuckerberg is going to be subscribing to the Radio Free New York podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, any of those places where you can subscribe to the Radio Free New York podcast.
There's also like the Liberty ranking podcast
Oh, yeah,
thing
yeah.
that we can get people to boost us.
Yeah, Andrew posted about that earlier. I was going to post about that today, so definitely check that out. But anywho, I think it's a little bit of a different question from saying that maybe Facebook ought to kind of put up disclaimers for certain things, and I think it's different for like kind of private political claims than the kind of political ads, right? Because again, you're interfering with an election at that point, or at least that could be the accusation. So having that versus being required to police and edit the content of your site, right? So that's something that I think is fundamentally different. Is that if Facebook is responsible for any misleading, dangerous, illegal content on their site, again, Facebook tries to cut down on like illegal activity on their site, but like if they were held legally liable for any time someone posted about like trying to sell drugs on their site or something, like they would have a huge problem. And it's interesting to see that some of the Democratic candidates are advocating for that. Again, what Section 230 does, as I understand it, and I hope I'm understanding this correctly, is that they are again responsible for any of the content of the site and are responsible for editing that content appropriately. They aren't merely a platform. They are like treated as a media outlet that is endorsing the content that they allow on their site. It's fundamentally different, don't you think?
Yeah, I agree with that.
What, you think that it should be that way?
I honestly, I don't know enough about it to actually have an educated opinion. I just don't know the inner workings of Facebook and how, I've never put up like an ad like that on Facebook, so I don't even know like what the process is and the rules and regulations. So I'm gonna take a note on that one. None of the above.
Yeah. Sean, don't you know how political radio works? Even if you don't understand something, you're supposed to just spout off your opinion on it without any regard to truth or understanding.
I can't do that when we just 15 minutes ago were talking about integrity,
I know.
accuracy. But see, that's the thing. I'm secure enough within myself that I can turn around and say openly, and to how many millions of listeners that we have, that I don't know. I don't know enough about it to have an opinion. I think that's the most mature, responsible thing that a person can do nowadays. Just because you see it, you hear it, just go, you know what? I don't know about that. Let me double check. Let me check other sources. Let me look into it. But let me get back to you. I wish more politicians would do that. And when they're hit with a question and say, because I've heard Larry say it.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about that. Let me get back to you.
No, I agree with that. And we're getting other interesting comments too. So Rick had asked about hate speech content too.
That's what came to my mind earlier.
Yeah, I mean that's an interesting one. Which Facebook, again, if you put out kind of known racial slurs and things like that, Facebook will take down your content. Which
30-day bans too.
Yeah, and they'll ban you, and sometimes for even for stuff that I don't consider all that bad.
Have you ever been banned?
I have not been.
I have not been banned either.
Wow, we're not edgelording hard enough, Sean.
Yeah, I guess.
Obviously,
Look a little more edgy.
Yeah, no, I don't particularly want to be banned. But
wait, where'd the feed go?
Yeah, right. I know other people who have been banned sometimes for stuff that I don't know, seems like it's a little bit marginal. But they already do that stuff, and I don't think they should be under any legal obligation to. But Facebook again has kind of taken their corporate responsibility or whatever you want to call it, and they've decided like, okay, we're not going to allow this type of content on our site. And they're a private corporation; they can do what they want. They don't have to have unlimited free speech. They can say this type of stuff is okay to say, and this type of stuff isn't. And it's the same thing like Twitter does. Twitter took like a totally different approach to this too. We haven't even talked about them, where they totally banned political ads because they saw what Facebook was going through, and they're just like, you know what? We're not going to deal with this at all. We're just, instead of taking the neutral position, we're just going to ban it. Just ban everything.
I got a 12-hour ban on Twitter once.
No, good job. See, you got banned there. I have not gotten banned on Twitter.
Well, I told Cheeto Von Tweeto something personally. I sent it directly to him, and I guess he didn't like that.
Twitter didn't like it. It's bots that go and they check your speech and they see what you're saying. But yeah, I mean, it's if again, what you're saying is considered hate speech, and I don't necessarily want to defend some of the nastiest stuff that's out there, but it's like who gets to define that, and if it's a situation where in a repeal of Section 230, the government is defining that, like, is that a de facto censorship, right?
I don't know. I mean, all I said was something to the effect of, just take a pass already. Melania's been waiting for your money for years.
Oh, okay. Come on,
So, I mean, that's not that bad.
Yeah, thank you. I was like, Sean, we're on the radio. Please don't swear, buddy.
No.
Goodness, thank you. But anyway, yeah, and then, oh goodness, now I'm getting a comment from Rick again. It's like, oh, they should be broken up.
What should be?
Big social media companies. I don't agree with that.
No, I don't agree with it either.
No, I don't think they should be broken up. I appreciate your comment, and I spent a lot of time talking about that. I went on another radio station, talked about that for a while with people who want to either nationalize Facebook or break up those companies like Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. They're all owned by the same people. YouTube owned by Google, of course, because you do get, like, again, we talked about the kind of corrupting influence of having too powerful for an organization and kind of wanting to hold on to that power. And I think that's a fair criticism of those companies. But I also don't really want to see the government arbitrarily breaking up these companies.
Look, I'm old enough to know, I remember when Ma Bell used to be around. And they broke that up, and AT&T eventually conglomerated everything back together, and now they're all back together again.
All right, well, we are out of time for today's show. Thanks again for listening to Radio Free New York. We'll be back again tomorrow. Talk to you then.
Because anyone with cancer deserves good days and special times.